Hello, hello, hello everyone, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. This is a very special one because I'll be playing two characters, Luciver and Teddy T. Bear, or Theodore T. Bear. And by the way, the T stands for the. Just to be real clear on that. I am joined by my very good friend.
It's me, AudioVizual. I'm going to be Phlox today. As per usual, having to do with Lucifer stuff at this rate and point. Yeah, it's me, AudioVizual. Text. I need to get out of the coconut gallery one second.
Yeah, get out of the coconut gallery while I introduce our listeners to what's going on. So this takes place actually during the last game. While we're all mucking about the sewers doing some exploring. And because that actually takes some time. And after coming to the opening in the tunnel that led to a really long drop, Teddy, who had been carrying his corpse this whole time, by the way, when he picked up Lucifer, he was still carrying his corpse. So I provide you that wonderful knowledge. He decided to pipe up as they came to a kind of crossroads and said, so as much as corpse is not heavy, it would be nice to give it proper burial. Could, we take a moment and let me take care of this. And I assume that the rest of the group would be okay with that because, how else do you respond?
No bones about it, just this is a corpse. Just a great way to open this up. Just, carrying around a corpse.
My own corpse.
My own corpse. I feel like it's insert some sort of dry, but also immediate repression from Jack comment. Varying degrees of helpful comments from the party. And then of course, because Phlox ends up rolling 2 fucking 19s because they're in full Sableye mode, they volunteer essentially to they volunteer themselves to help pick a good spot so that there isn't just some sort of smoking what are those things called that are on streets?
You don't know what he's going to do yet.
Yeah,
but you're certain
whatever he's gonna do,
it's going to be certainly not burying it.
Yeah. So Phlox basically volunteers to go help make sure that they don't get fucking lost in the sewers and have to become real life Ninja Turtles.
Mm-hmm. And Teddy just kind of puts his very large paw on the back of Lucifer's back and goes, "Come on, kid." Just kind of pulls him along, and he starts walking after a little bit, oh, okay, yep, we're doing this.
I can't believe Lucifer's getting taken to a secondary location. I can't believe Lucifer's being kidnapped.
Again.
Again. How many times has Lucifer gotten kidnapped now? At this point, just get him microchipped. I
mean,
they probably walk a fair ways.
Yeah, they go a fair ways, because a lot of the sewers is very narrow, and Teddy does describe that they need at least a large flat surface.
I feel like Phlox is just gonna continue in ignorance. They have no idea. But for once they're just gonna go along with it because, fuck it, What are they gonna do? They have no idea. They vaguely know Teddy, but also, Teddy is not acting like the Teddy they know. So, they're just kind of like gonna feel out the situation a little, for once and not dive in immediately head first.
So as they reach a large enough flat surface, Teddy takes the corpse he'd been carrying over his shoulder, casually.
So casually.
Very casual. And very carefully lays it down. And then he turns to Luciver and goes, all right, you'd need some sort of, that ink? Is that ink? And Lucifer's like, oh, yeah. It's just, starts digging into the shadows of his hood.
Roll for it.
Yep, I'm rolling for it. I got a 1. All right, let me look at his fumble table. Let's see
the
what
other shit in his pockets.
Yeah, the other shit in his pockets. Because this is before he decided to disguise himself and take the coat off. That's up. So, that's a 12.
What's a 12?
So instead of what he was going for, he pulls out what at first looks like a human arm, and then it just flops over like it's made of cloth. And Lucifer just stares at it and goes, I was wondering where that went. And then and starts to put it back.
Well, I've got to hand it to you.
Teddy starts to laugh. And and then the lights just kind of flicker out for a moment, goes, you know what? I might as well just take this off. And, he takes off his coat.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Bow, wow. And the boy revealed.
I might as well, just reveal him now.
Oh, fuck, you really?
Instead of just sending it, or maybe I'll just send the picture to, wait. Nah, I'll just reveal it.
God. I can't believe you're doing this in a fucking FPS.
Ha. Well,
God. Fucking face reveals your goddamn dude. Phlox already knows what he looks like, so they don't like bat a single eye.
Yeah, so I have to do a thing. So it's gonna take me a little bit. So,
But it's Lucifer.
yes, unplanned commercial break as I pull things up, and yeah.
About 10 minutes in, and we're already like do 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 do. I feel like in the meantime, Phlox is gonna roll hammer space. The 3. So they pull out a nice little black notebook. And then they pull out a sort of sparkly pencil. And they like thumb around and flip through a few pages and like chew on the end of the pencil like a maniac. And probably end up biting the eraser off and then just absentmindedly just fucking eating it.
Mm-hmm.
And they scribble a few things down in their notebook, and they're like, so I'm gonna have to make a whole new category because I have my list of questions, and that means now I have to make a whole new category. And so while I'm making the new category, is it cool if I just ask a couple of questions really quick, partly for like administrative purposes, as loose as administrative can really be, but also considering we might have to update some of our paperwork, considering things. Don't worry, Lucy. You're currently out of the firing range. You can keep doing your thing. And they like point they point the chewed on end of the pencil at Teddy, and they're like, "Hi. We're gonna start with a few basic questions, including how fucked is your memory? The general, do you still go by the same name? Pronouns? Do you know how to count over 10? That's mainly for testing like cognitive issues, because at that point then it's like, do we have to do cognitive recalibration? Also, yeah, I got questions. I have so many questions. Usually it's Ducky who does questions, but like Ducky's been taking the L and keeping an eye on Attica. So kind of picking up the slack.
Teddy just blinks. That was a lot. One at a time.
Awesome. That's not a no. Excellent. So we're gonna start with can I have your full name?
He's going to like kind of narrow his rather glowing eyes at you, and then look towards Luciver, who just waves his hands emphatically as he's still pulling off his jacket.
He's like trying to take it off like you would a t-shirt, but it's like stuck on his horns and like all this and that.
On his horn, he gets frustrated and just tears the horn off and tosses it.
Amazing. Make a note of that. Phlox is completely unphloxed. That's a joke. And they're just like grinning and like, they look really chill and just like, yeah, I'm doing paperwork stuff.
So Teddy goes, well, I am Theodore Bear. That's my full name.
Cool. Awesome. What are your pronouns?
You can use he, him.
Cool. I'm not going to pry any further because right now we're probably starting something like friendship level 1. Which really sucks considering all the effort we went through, especially bow for bow. Bow for bow, rip bow for bow. There was a whole thing. Actually a lot has happened. In that line, how is your memory doing, and do you know how old you are?
But, well, when I woke up, this is definitely not, Fieldstown.
Hillstown. In,
UPA.
Yep, Villestown. I don't think we've been kicked out of there yet.
What is that about? And Luciver just, like, pulls his coat off and just kind of frustratingly folds it up and places it on the ground beside his feet. And he, pulls his backpack off of his back and starts actually, like, sorting through it. Searching for what he's looking for, and Lucifer says, they say that all the time. They're a bounty hunter. Theodore.
I'm a bounty hunter.
I'm gonna roll to see if he knows what a bounty hunter is.
Oh my god. You know what? That's valid.
See,
take your time, I guess.
Yeah, that's a straight D20, and that's an 8.
Oh boy, he's trying. He is trying so hard.
Theodore just kind of, like, opens his mouth, closes it, and then just slowly nods, but he does not understand at all.
Alright, I'm gonna have Phlox roll insight, because heck you. What's your insight mod, you big fucking nerd? +4, alright. An 8, so... 8 plus 4. I mean... I feel like they pick up at the very least that Teddy is... Oh, Teddy definitely doesn't remember them.
No, there is no recognition in those green glowing eyes for Phlox.
Okay. We're just gonna put that aside for, sad crying noises later. Crying cat emoji, but it's Phlox. But they nod empathetically and they're like, so basically, part of the reason why I asked is, things have happened involving a lot of things in the last few months. Because I've met you guys technically in the last few months, and there was this whole thing to do with the castle in Sky, and there was the military, but that was in Ghibli, and we didn't kicked out, and I have some important questions for you in regards to some of that. But
Ghibli. That's the Empire in Einquell, yes?
One of them. Depends on your point of view. It's the one sort of by UPA, if I'm recalling correctly. Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's Anime Land, except it's not Tetsukanda.
The comment about it's Anime Land just gets a mild confused look.
Don't worry, Phlox is used to this. And then like, Yep. So you didn't answer the age question. Do I need to reiterate that one? I can also pester
Right.
Lucifer with questions if you want, because I've been doing that a lot. Varying degrees of, like, usefulness. I still have a couple that he refused to answer that I can, like, reiterate and, like, poke at those obviously clear sore spots in his emotional psyche, and they're, like, I'm flipping through my book, they're flipping through their book.
Lucifer just pulls out an inkwell and places it down next to his pack, and he starts searching for other stuff, and says, "I'd really rather you not right now."
Cool. I can wait at least 5 minutes because I'm really nice.
Theodore's been thinking, and he goes, "Well, last I checked, I was about 35.
Cool. Do you know how old Lucifer is last year, remember?
Lucifer looks up, and he looks kind of, like, caught, like, in a spotlight. And Teddy looks down at Lucifer, and then looks at Phlox. That's a little complicated. Why do you ask a question?
Why do I ask a question?
Yes.
He said too. I figured you already knew that.
Yes, he's been that way since I knew him. Is that weird? And Teddy just kind of tilts his head to the side.
Phlox kind of, like, looks between them, and, like, they're doing a sort of, like, twisty hand motion, and, like, it depends on your definition, especially industry standard and stuff like that. I mean, it's not that weird, but, like, some people think it's weird, especially people who, like, aren't used to necromancy stuff. I mean, I don't know a ton about magic. I can do magic. Most of it's intuitive, though, but it's like Lucifer does wizardy things, and there's this whole thing with the order guys and the stolen grimoire. I mean, I know some stuff. Technically being dead isn't normal, especially if you're still walking around, which is part of why I'm asking. I mean, I'm just asking questions. Sorry.
And Teddy goes, so, on the continent is not okay. It's just kind of not okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've been on Einquell for about 5-6 years now. It's like, people are weird. Very different from what I'm used to, technically. I mean, stuff. I'm just nosy, mainly. Also because I now have, like, I have this whole thing where one of the guys that's hunting down Lucifer, like, they definitely either owe me their money or their life, and I'm willing to bet with either.
Lucifer pulls out a pad of paper. Specifically, it looks to be so it is a pad, but it's got parchment paper on it. That's very specific.
Phlox kind of, like, hops a couple steps closer to Lucifer.
Lucifer just kind of looks up at Phlox and goes, yes?
Oh, don't mind me. They just grin at him, like, in a seemingly angelic way.
Make me a perception check.
Awesome.
Because I
Hate
assume that Phlox is going to try to look at his bag before he flips it closed.
Probably, definitely. It's Phlox we're talking about. They'll take an idle look at everything. That's a 16.
So, inside, you see... Let's see... You know, a very familiar black coat. What appears to be an empty package of blue popsicles, and that's all you see before he flips his backpack closed.
Phlox scribbles something in their notebook. And they're heading look at Teddy and they're like, so are you not from Einquell?
No. I'm, well, should I... You know, I don't know. He just seems to be thinking for a moment and just kind of shrugs and goes, I'm from, the, Cloud of Hearts Isles.
I'm gonna have Phlox roll history, I guess, to see if they recognize what Hearts Isles is.
Well, you get to determine.
I was gonna make the DC pretty high, considering it's not Ninquell.
Yeah,
and apparently
it's
apparently it's not well known to Einquell.
10. Phlox has no idea.
Yeah, they scribble something down in their notebook and they nod along, but it's very clearly the more like mechanical, I have no idea what this is. That'll be a future problem.
Carminia, who is listening, please roll history. And you have to roll it in the game zone, please, so I can see it. Anyways, Luciver picks up his pack and slings it onto his shoulder and picks up the inkwell and the pad of parchment paper and then offers them to Teddy, and Teddy just waves his hand like, no, I need you to do it. And Lucifer's like, blinks and goes, oh.
Phlox is scribbling in their notebook. And they're like, nod. So what exactly are we doing here?
We're burning we're burning corpse. And Teddy gestures to the corpse.
Okay. I'm down. Do you guys need like matches or anything?
Yes.
I'm very good at knowing how to make things disappear.
We will need matches.
Cool. Phlox is gonna roll. That's a 6. They tuck their pencil behind one of their like little fins, and they reach in their mouth and pull out like a matchbox. And then after a second, they're like, they pull out a cigarette, and it's like still smoldering, and it smells sweet, like burning, like sweet licorice smell. And they prop that between their teeth and then I'm gonna have them roll a con save.
What a choice.
Yeah, their face screws up because that was an 8. They look a little like, ugh. Like, that was a terrible decision. But they, like, hold it in their mouth anyway, and they're, like, just letting it sort of, stink up the place. And they just offer out the matches.
Teddy nods and says thank you, and takes them from Phlox, and then starts then kind of just steps to the side to just look over Lucifer's shoulder. And Lucifer's like, looks a little panicked before going, okay, what's first? And Teddy's like, well, do you remember the, and Teddy just kind of shakes the matchbox things.
Phlox kind of like hops over, and they're chewing on the cigarette, or the smoking licorice stick that definitely isn't a cigarette. Just kind of like doodling in their notebook as they hop over and like kind of peer around Lucifer's other side at the pad of paper.
Oh wow, that's a natural one. And as Teddy says, do you remember this? And Lucifer's like, I don't. It was 5 years ago. Teddy's like, oh, well, not surprised. All right. And Teddy starts walking Lucifer, because, I don't know the exact intricacies of it, but Teddy does. So Teddy starts walking Lucifer through the intricacies of drawing what is probably, you know what, no. Audio, have Phlox roll religion.
Religion? Ooh. Let's see. Their religion is a +2. Hey. Yay.
Yep, so, you must have gotten pretty curious about, the way to seal demons and, like, keep them out of places, or, in this case, out of a body.
Phlox has done some weird jobs, and sometimes also you just space Wikipedia browse for 10 hours, and you learn a completely new skill.
Each symbol that Lucifer very carefully writes down on this piece of paper is a warning to keep demons away.
Amazing. Phlox is like, they make sort of like an interested noise, and then they start scribbling in their notebook more. I figure, honestly, these symbols look like straight up Full Metal Alchemist style shit.
Hey, it's your lore, so you get the final say on it.
Straight up Full Metal Alchemist bullshit. And they, like, flip back a couple pages, and they're like, so absolutely not distracting you in any way, I'm sure, of these very important ritualistic symbols having to do with demons. That's really interesting. I'd love to hear the story about that sometime.
Teddy looks over at Phlox and goes, do you not do this? This?
I'm gonna be real here, Chief. The way doesn't exactly dictate super distinctly what you do with, like, the whole body stuff. Like, the best gum, like, that stuff's important because it's, like, a precious resource and it's passed down the family lineage. But sometimes you just sort of, like, go, I guess I'm gonna fucking kick it, and then you go do something really cool and shit blows up. And, One of my bucket list ways to die if I have to go involves something to do with, like, going out in a blaze of fire. I think that would be really fun. But no, not generally. I've had to do some stuff having to do with, like, hey, demons, it's your non-binary boy, back at it again with the demon sealing shit. But, I forgot what the question was.
Well, it's very, very important. All Miserians do this.
Ah, so you're a Miserian.
Yes.
Can you spell that for me?
Teddy spells it. I'm not going to spell it. You spell it.
Amazing.
I don't feel
For
like
anyone
spelling today.
For anyone wondering, it's Misserian. You're welcome. And Phlox scribbles that down in their notebook. And they're like, cool. I'll be sure to look that up in Encyclopedia Internete whenever I get Wi-Fi. I have questions. Ducky gave me questions. I have very important questions. I can't get distracted. I will get distracted. Keep doing your weird demon symbols things, Lucy. I believe in you.
Lucifer just lets out an exasperated sigh, pulls off the first paper, and walks over to the body, and looks back at Teddy, and Teddy goes, forehead. And Lucifer nods and places it very carefully on the forehead of the corpse on the ground.
Cool. Just very casual interview while this is going on. Phlox, like, flips a few pages back from where they had flipped, and they're like, cool. Ducky question. Here's their handwriting. It's awful. So, important question. Okay, let me read this again. And they, like, squint at the page, and then, like, lighting in here is terrible. Because they're just standing in the sewer.
They are. And Phlox is the only one without,
Dark vision. They kind of, like, tilt their notebook so, like, Teddy's glow lights it up a little more.
Teddy just tilts his head and says, oh, you can't see.
Man, I wish. At some point I should save up and get some, like, goggles of night or some bullshit, but also, unfortunately, some racial traits from being a bootleg of something else don't always track, and that involves dark vision, although I'm really good at navigating sewers, apparently.
Well, that's not something I, expected to hear. And Lucifer's like, you get used to it.
Don't worry, honey. Just like the rest of you real kind weirdos, we're gonna get you all nice and broken in with Toon stuff because we're stuck in Uncanny Valley, which is like Toon stuff like on Red Bull and like some energy powdery stuff, and it's like, God, 36-hour blender later. But my question...
I know about Toons, but not like this. Not like this.
Don't worry about it. Me and Vod are a flavor of our own. It's very fun, and also everyone else's problem. Don't worry, though. You don't remember, but you're also kind of, like, our favorite, next to, like, Lucifer, although, like, I don't know how much of the favorite Lucifer is to Vod, because, like, they're getting friendly with Cat. I don't know if you remember Cat. Cat's the tall fuck-off one with the orange and blue halo-y. Questions. Do you know anything about Order 13? That one's important. And, do you have anyone you're looking for, or, like, any sort of unfinished business? I mean, I get the whole ghost thing, and that tends to revolve around unfinished business, but also, like, part of the thing we do is, like, do you have any, like, issues you need taken care of? Because apparently, like, plot has stuck us together, so, and we're generally helpful, me and Vod, but...
So, when you mentioned Order 13, Teddy's whole, like, glowy thing dims, and his expression gets very grim, and he says, so there's still a threat.
I mean, considering one of them is the 17-year-old that spooked Lucifer into, like, trying to blast, go hard, blast, boom, boom, run away, like Team Galactica.
I know what you wanted to say there.
They're kind of like a problem. One of them's a 17-year-old, and apparently it's a cult. And so part of the thing is, like, I totally talked to the 17-year-old, and apparently he got brought into this by his brother, who's been brainwashed by the cult leader or something. So that's gonna be a kidnapping that's gonna happen at some point. But also there's one of them that we've met before who goes by Locke Longshot, and we're totally going to absolutely either take all of Locke's money, their reputation, or their life, because, them rogue violence.
That's very, interesting. As for, well, unfinished business, I came here to Einquell to help people. And he looks over at Lucifer, who's busy making an exact copy of that seal that is now on the corpse's head. And has, as Teddy's looking, his expression, there's a lot of worry and care there in his expression. I'm gonna give that to you for free.
Phlox scribbles in their notebook, and they're nodding and nodding and nodding, and they're like, well, if it helps any, me and Vod are now very invested in your two's continued existence.
Well, that's good. As, you know what, he's going to say something, and he's not telling it to me, and I'm shaking him like, please talk. Because he just trailed off, and I'm like, please, you're going to say something, please say something. I was worried when you said, being dead wasn't, normal.
I mean, it's not necessarily normal, but also, like, toons would just be like that, you know? Sometimes you just, spawn freshly dead, and sometimes you get killed, but then you don't die, and sometimes just, it's very loosey-goosey. It's very loosey-goosey. Also, at some point, we can pursue the topic line question of, do you want to be undeaded? Like, how would you phrase that? Because it's like there's revival, and then there's, like, I don't know. I'm not, because that's always a line of question, like, that's potential for pursuing.
Well,
yeah.
That's a little complicated, how you say.
I mean, it's only really as complicated as you make it.
Lucifer sticks another seal on the corpse's feet and looks up at Teddy, and Teddy looks over and goes, "One on the symbol, my symbol." And Lucifer nods and starts copying down the seal again.
You know what? You're valid. We can pursue that at a later point whenever we're not literally toasting the corpse. Like, I can get marshmallows if you feel really crazy, but I don't know if eating them would be smart.
I would not recommend marshmallows.
Damn. Phlox swallows back the licorice cigarette to finish off at a later point. That goes back in their hammer space. That will become a running gag if I'm not careful, because I think it's very funny.
Yep.
I have some more questions specific to you, because this is very important to me personally. Do you have a favorite color?
Audio, do me a favor and tell me what color does Leon usually wear? You know who I'm talking about.
Oh my god. I mean, Leon is orange.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he probably honestly wears, I was kind of picturing sort of like knight in shining armor vibes. So he would wear, like, you know, silver mail and like a white sort of like thing over it that would have his symbol on it. He dresses really classily, honestly. So I'm gonna fucking perish. I hate this hustle. I know I set this up myself.
You set it up. I'm just fitting into it. So Teddy.
Yeah, Leon probably wears a lot of like just silvers and whites and like neutrals. But he is orange. He's a very specific shade of orange.
Yeah. Well, I'm very partial to orange. I lost the accent there. Don't mind it. I went too far.
And then I know you have a favorite flower, and apparently it's like purple carnations.
No.
Phlox looks over to Lucifer.
That is a carnation. And Lucifer's just going to tear off the parchment and place it over the clover symbol.
Phlox like hops over to like where Lucifer is and like leans over, and they're like, "Lucy, did you lie to me? Did you lie?"
I didn't ask, okay?
I mean, you could have just said that, first of all. Second of all, I'm going to need to revise those notes. Third of all, I would be very interested in finding out what the hell was up with the purple carnations, but I can continue to press that question in a minute if you're gonna be all, like, sunder, grumpy, doesn't want to talk to Phlox right now.
Me slipping into the wrong accent. I'm a little busy here. And he just kind of shoves the parchment and the inkwell he was using into his backpack, and he looks down at his hands and he kind of just steps away from Phlox. Do you want to make me another perception check?
Yes, I would love to make another perception check. I'm terrified, thank you very much. Alright, that one is, that's a natural 20.
It smells like blood.
Oh my god. My god. Phlox is immediately like in my brain, Phlox is immediately like, oh, okay, time to switch off the we're back in a business mode essentially, and Phlox sticks their book and their pencil like basically in under their chest plate. They take a step towards Lucifer.
Lucifer takes another step back, and Teddy looks between the two and goes, what is wrong?
You okay there, Lucy?
Where's his deception?
God.
Wow, natural 1.
Good.
He does not get to lie. Lucifer just kind of looks down, just looks up, looks anywhere but Teddy or Phlox, and goes, I'm fine. I'm fine. And Teddy frowns lightly and just kind of kicks off the ground and floats over.
Amazing. Phlox is making a face. They're not smiling. It's kind of more of a grimace. And I'm like, well, I think you're kind of lying. Do you want to try that again?
He makes a grimace of his own, and he takes his hands out from behind his back and just kind of smooths his... He's fiddling with his different colored fingers. It's fine. I just needed a little more ink.
Phlox kind of like claps their hands into prayer hands for a second, and they're like, what am I gonna do with you? Like, legit. You're lucky there isn't, like, any sort of, like, I don't know, man-eating rats. And either sort of, taking of that. Because, like, this is gonna be another one of those situations where it's like the bag of clay, isn't it?
Lucifer just kind of wiggles in place, and Teddy does not actually look surprised. He just kind of very carefully takes Lucifer's wrist and tilts his head. Did you run out of bandage? And Lucifer's just like, it's just I just made a small cut. It's not
I'm gonna have Phlox roll a thing.
What thing are they going to roll?
For hammer space. They don't reach in their mouth. They actually like reach essentially behind them, sort of like they're like how where people wear like something like attached to their back or like tucked into the back of their waistband. As no one is looking at Phlox's back, they can do the hammer space trick. They pull out a box of like bandages. And they're all themed. They're all themed with a bunch of bootleg cough cough Pokemon and cough cough Star Wars sort of. Also probably cough cough Kingdom Hearts just for shits and laughs. But yeah, they pull out the box of bandages and they're like, well, you know, you could ask, you know, that's always an option. Like, 'cause I mean, and they're like fumbling the box open and pulling out some like different size bandages, and they're like, well, you have to let me see first of all, so I can like decide how big of a bandage you need. And if you get one of the really cool ones, or if you get one of the like less cool ones because I'm feeling mad at you or something, or like not even necessarily mad, more just annoyed.
Lucifer just kind of. His mouse does one of those things where it presses into a, you know, when someone's mouth presses into a hard line, but
yeah.
It's weird because it's like his lips don't match up right.
Phlox makes grabby hands at him.
Teddy's just like, go on. Lucifer's just like, and just kind of flings his hands out towards Phlox.
I'm guessing he has a boo-boo.
Yeah, it's a actually very surgical looking cut along one of his fingers.
Phlox like hems and haws, and like goes through their bandages and like gives some of them like a really critical eye as they're like trying to find the best one, and then like, you know, like you're definitely younger than me. I know that much because you're acting like totally like a really like pissy teenager. So like, I don't know. Are you like 10? Are you like 12? Are you like
I was 16, alright? I was 16.
You were 16? Excuse me?
Yes?
Phlox drops the box of bandages and they like go scattering and they're like, excuse me?
Teddy looks at Phlox over Lucifer's shoulder, and Teddy knew that. And why Teddy was very worried probably makes a little more sense.
Phlox is just like reshifting their whole worldview for a second. Like they like absent-mindedly pick a like, it's glow in the dark. It's a glow in the dark. It's like clearly one of the better bandages, and they like absent-mindedly like peel off the back and like stick it around Lucifer's finger and does like the pat. And they're like, so my good fucking Lucifer's fucking Travels McGee. I am 23, approximately. I'm 20 years old. You're telling me you're fucking, like, you were 16 whenever you fucking kicked the bucket?
Yes. You see why I didn't want to talk about it?
Phlox, like, reaches up and, like, squishes his cheeks.
No, get off!
They just, like...
He looks mildly annoyed.
Phlox gently, like, pushes his lips into, like, a fish sort of, like, blue. And they're like, well, I feel both exceedingly impressed that you managed to fucking hire me and make me think you were, like, at least 20. Second of all...
21 just past year.
I mean, okay, that's valid, actually. But also, consider... Just... This is a tiny odd. This is an odd. We have picked up a second odd. What are we gonna tell Beer? And they let go of his face and they, like, hold their chin for a second. They're like, what are we gonna tell Beer? We've picked up 2 now. We have 2 of them. I guess it's just like hamsters.
Teddy very carefully hands Lucifer the matches and tells Teddy to strike 3 of them, and each time he strikes one, he has to say a very certain word that was very carefully, like, said by Teddy. Like someone taught it to him. It's a very specific word in Infernal.
Amazing. Phlox just kind of crouches and does prayer hands and, like, is thinking for a second. They're letting Lucifer go and do burn the body stuff. They're just thinking for a second, and they're like, just thinking.
Yeah, and when the third match had fallen upon the corpse, Teddy basically walked Lucifer through a when ritual spells have words you say and ceremonies have words you say, Teddy walks Lucifer through those.
Phlox, like, pulls their notebook back out and pulls their pencil back out from where they had tucked it against their and, like, they, like, clearly shoved something else further, like, deeper back under that, like, pulling the book out had inadvertently, like, started to pull out as well. And then they start scribbling in their notebook and thinking for a second, scribbling in their notebook and thinking for a second. And they're like, okay. Like, after a minute, they're like, okay. Okay. So, can I ask some of those questions again with, like, this new fucking very important piece of information, including who the fuck we apparently have to hunt down and kill for being involved in your untimely fucking demise?
Lucifer just kind of, after finishing up, he just kind of lets out a really long sigh and goes, I have been... See, there's 6. There are 6 of them. There are 6 of them. And one of them... And he closes his eyes and he starts pointing at a certain direction. They're in that direction. And they're an iron quell, and I haven't gone to find them yet because I know I'm not strong enough to kill them myself. And there's this kind of growl underneath his voice. as he opens his eyes, and his eyes are glowing bright.
You know, there's a saying having to do with revenge, and it's the whole, if you go out to do revenge, make sure you dig 2 graves. I mean, it's kind of ironic now, considering, but also, is down for a good, like, I mean, is this, like, are you gonna go around, like, are you gonna kill just the one person? Are you gonna go around and, like, take care of the other 6 people? Like, that, like, logistics is important, and like Ducky has nailed that into my head. If you really want, that can be a future thing. So
Lucifer
information
looks down at the corpse as it starts to catch flame, more, you know, bonfire like, and he says, I don't have a choice. I have to kill all of them.
Now, is this like a compulsion thing? Like, look, listen.
If, for example, if I walked into the same room as whoever it is who's in Einquell, I'd have to immediately try to kill him. Or them. Or her.
But I'm either really stupid, or like this is some sort of weird undead thing that I don't know about. So we're gonna go with it's probably a weird undead thing.
Daddy'd also just not know.
Yeah,
he knows about he knows about some things, but also he only took courses at the university. He didn't take like his whole major there.
Bless his heart and soul.
That's on the recording now. You all heard it.
Yep. Phlox just kind of like writes something down in the notebook and then like scribbles in it, kind of annoyed. They're like, okay, nope. We're starting this in the wrong place. We are starting this in the wrong place. I'm trying to like, you know, okay. So like, here's the thing. Trying to work backwards is only going to get us so far. We need to like establish like a baseline and stuff like that, and like all of those nosy ass questions I was asking you about that made you really uncomfortable. Getting answers for those would probably be helpful. Look, okay? It's like, clearly there's like some sort of weird magical mystical bullfuckery around. So like being able to figure out what it was like before, you know, you kicked it. I don't know. It makes sense. I promise. I think. Look.
Have you ever heard of the Warriors of Light?
Alright, time for Phlox to roll something.
That's a history check, and it's a little... So it would be much higher than normal for anyone else, but...
Okay, so that's
Okay, so you've had some weird clients. You did do jobs before you came to Einquell, yes?
Yes.
So there were some clients that you had to for example, do things for, which they specifically told you that this, target they were looking for was a warrior of the light. And fortunately for you, that job never actually came to fruition because you never found them. All you found were the ghost of a mention of, some kind of war.
Phlox like hears Lucifer ask, and then like their face kind of does like a twist, and then like it's one clearly of like recognition. And they're like, well, I probably don't know as yeah.
He doesn't know.
Yeah, Teddy's just standing here.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Phlox kind of hems and haws for a second. They're like, well, I've definitely heard about them before, but talk to me like I haven't at all, because I feel like that's a good, a baseline considering for, because yep, talk to me like I don't know anything, like I'm 5 years old.
Lucifer just kind of, so he takes his arms and kind of just wraps them around himself. I was a part of a guild, training to become a full warrior of the light. And war broke out because for some godforsaken reason they started fighting over who had the right way of protecting the multiverse. And my friends left me behind, and I got caught in the crossfire. That's the short version.
Phlox.
Teddy very slowly pulls Lucifer into a hug.
Phlox is not smiling. Phlox looks very like serious as they're slowly like writing in their book. And they nod. And they put the pencil inside the book to like mark the page and tuck the book back under their chest plate again. They kind of like step a little closer, like just enough to be hovering sort of in the other two's orbit, but not enough to like intrude.
Teddy's gonna reach out and pull Phlox into a hug as well.
Teddy, our beloved. Me quietly, Phlox, what do you do? Phlox, I see. I was not prepared for this situation. Fuck. Me shaking Phlox, what do you do? You just hear like dial tone noises for half a second as their brain just kind of like processes, and then they're just like a kind of awkwardly standing
That was just in case they resisted Teddy's athletics.
Honestly, they're probably too surprised.
Fair.
Because I didn't think about that.
Yeah, Teddy is very soft. Now he's holding both you and Lucifer against his very soft body as the other body burns.
Shh! We don't talk about the burning body in the background.
And Lucifer kind of shakes a little, and because he's not done talking. The boy on the bridge, his name is Gale. He left me behind. I bet he wouldn't even recognize me if he saw me. Fucking.
I mean, we're also in a place where people steal your names and, like, a whole bunch of memory bullshittery, so it could just be... It's not like he meant to forget you.
He wouldn't recognize me if he saw me.
Right.
I don't... This isn't what I look like. This isn't me.
Remember how I was like, there's a part where Phlox puts their foot in their mouth? I feel like this is kind of the part because they're like, they really are just like, fuck, yeah, you're right. Shit, I'm Bobo the Clown here. Like, you see like Phlox sort of like, because they've only known Lucifer looking like Lucifer, right? So it's like their brain is like, again, it's them just like, right. I feel like they can infer that obviously that means Lucifer did not look anything like this. Because it's like one could assume that this was, him it looked like before, but just came back. And their brains reshuffling this information of, oh, he didn't look like this at all. And they're just gonna take a second, and they're gonna do the smart thing and actually.
Teddy's just basically going there, as he's just patting Lucifer's back and hugging them both.
Just, here's your therapy undead teddy bear.
Yup. Maybe that's what he should. Maybe he's a therapist.
Yeah. He's gonna need therapy too, so... Just
he probably wholly knows that. Let me be real. He's very wise.
The most well-adjusted one here at the moment. Phlox takes a second. They open their mouth and they shut their mouth and they open their mouth and they shut their mouth and they're like, well, fuck. That was one of the questions I asked you. You know that, right? And that was very important information. Obviously, not a tune, considering how much you've been bitching about tunes.
No,
man.
I was told her I was a Firbolg.
Me, quietly, Phlox, do you know what a Firbolg is? Phlox, Phlox thinking for a second. They're tall.
They're tall. They've got big floppy ears.
Yep, and sometimes they have tails. I feel like it's been a bit since Phlox has properly interacted with real kind. Like,
I mean, they've been in Einquell, which is majority tunes. So,
yes.
for, 5 or 6 years is actually a pretty long time.
Mm-hmm. So, man, that fucking sucks. You really got, like, goddamn squashed, first of all.
I lost a whole fucking foot.
Oh no! Okay, I know this is very serious, Lucy, but also.
Lucifer just lifts his head from where it's been just kind of buried against Teddy's ghostly fur and just kind of narrows his eyes at Phlox like, fucking joke to you?
Okay, but like, look at them. They're not that smart. It's like the laughter is like more of like a it doesn't last very long, and it's more of like a surprise sort of oh my fucking god, rip to you sort of laughter.
Yeah.
So not like genuinely laughing at him in a mean way, more of just a oh holy fuck damn you live like that. No, yeah, that fucking sucks. Now you're down to my level, which, good fucking luck.
I was this short when I was a wee tyke, but he just looks so tired.
Phlox like pats his head, like sort of like just like pat.
So his hair feels like yarn.
That's fine.
And as they pat it, it springs up. 'Cause he's made with Toon materials.
Yep. So 16-year-old you had it fucking going real goddamn tall, and then shit happened. Bad shit happened. God fucking. Do we need to get you a vest that says nervous? I'm guessing you definitely have PTSD. Ass.
Yeah, you understand why I fucking spilled my guts when you pointed a knife at me.
That was just a friendly business interaction, but also, whenever I was 16, I was trying to blow myself up, and it was recent. I went to Einquell around 16. Wait, no, math. 17. I came to Einquell when I was 17. I was still blowing myself up, but that was in space.
Yeah, you mentioned the space TSA. We called that the World Order Committee. The World Order Committee.
That's neat. I call it space.
No,
there's aliens.
You said space TSA.
Oh,
we called that the World Order Committee.
Nice.
Followers of Kylan.
I don't know what that is. I don't think. Do I know what that is? Does Phlox know what that is?
Roll religion.
Oh boy.
It's another hard check.
Amazing.
This one's a little harder than the Warriors of Light.
Oh, I hate that. It's religion, right?
Yes, religion.
Cool. So that's a 16.
Unfortunately, you've never heard of Kailyn. Kailyn.
Can you spell that again? You said it and I was writing it and then my brain turned off.
Kailyn. I wrote it. I wrote it down for you.
Thank you. It's teamwork. One of us spells one thing, the other one spells the other. Yeah, Phlox has no fucking idea who that is, and it's pretty obvious on their face as they like ... Yeah, no, I don't know who that is.
Oh wait, sorry, it's Kaelrin. That is my bad. Watch me spell my own deity's name wrong. Kailryn.
Cool.
Which is why it's so hard to understand.
Yeah, Phlox doesn't know who that is.
Nope. You know, I didn't really expect you to.
Thanks. I don't know if that's an insult or like a genuine common sense sort of thing, but I'm gonna pocket that for later.
It's just a genuine common sense. Nobody in Unquill knows who they are. Teddy just kind of looks down, looks very quizzical for a moment.
Wait a minute, does this mean you fucking know about aliens being real, you little shit?
Lucifer just kind of smiles.
Wait a minute, are you a fucking alien too? And they poke Lucifer in like the chest repeatedly, like as they're like saying this, like, Lucifer, are you a fucking alien too?
Well, I think technically you would call me a dimension hopper.
Shh. That's practically that's close enough. That's close enough. That's close enough. And
sorry, this was my first time to Einquell. Well, 5 years ago. Me waking up here was my first time here.
A fucking blender. Like a hangover movie. Phlox just kind of like grumbles and growls to himself, and it comes out as like Pokemon noises.
Doesn't a Sableye kind of just sound like my brain is giving me Gaster noises from Undertale.
Thankfully, I've never heard what Gaster sounds like. Imagine it's some sort of, like, chittering noise.
Okay, cool.
It's some sort of vaguely electronic sounding,
Yeah, okay, so it lines up with what I'm thinking. Except Gaster noise is more long drawn out. Yeah, horrible computer crashing noise.
Yeah, that's it.
But more computerized.
Phlox is just shaking their head. They're like, I can't believe this. And they're like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. You're a dimensional hopping alien who's undead and this whole thing with the fucking bullshit Warriors of Light, TSD shit show, whatever. Okay, I need names of these 6 people you need fucking killed. I'm gonna get a fucking sniper rifle past space TSA if I have to, so we can do this from a nice range, no compulsive murdering. I don't know.
Let's see, I'm going to have to get back to you on that, because as much as I know exactly where they all fucking are, even if they're on a different plane of existence, I don't remember some of their names, but one of them is starts with an I. Is something like is I sick or something like that. He said
Man,
is
I sure hope you know how to fucking spell that.
yeah, he spells that.
God. Who would name your child that? Wait, never mind, it's Heart.
Or was it Isaac? No, Isaac would probably make more sense.
You know what? I'll write that down. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. You said get back to you. I'll get back to you on that. Fine,
Yeah,
do that.
no, another one, he's thinking while I pull up my notes,
Amazing.
because I only have 3 names for these people.
Thankfully, Phlox has no idea the context of these names.
Yeah, her name was Assyria.
These all sound like terrible fucking names to name your kids, first of all. So that'll make them really easy to find. Unless they decided to do the smart thing and change their fucking names.
Assyria is not that bad.
This is coming from someone whose name is like it's a name. It sure is a fucking name.
That's not my real name. Duh.
Have Phlox roll something. Do it right here. So 1 is yes, 2 is no. Okay. Phlox keeps their fucking mouth shut. And they let Lucifer go off about apparently the fact that
Lucifer is not
that's
his
not
real
his
name.
name.
It's not his real name. He's not going to tell you what his real name is. He's just saying that Lucifer is not his real name.
Phlox is filing that away for later. They like wait a second to see if Lucifer like says anything more past that.
No, he's going to just kind of turn and kind of bury his face against Teddy's fur, and Teddy just very gently pats his back and says, well, I'm glad you figured out something you wanted to call yourself.
Phlox is just fucking sitting here, first of all.
And Lucifer is going to take his face out of Teddy's fur, even though he really doesn't need to. And says, and the last one I remember is Temesis.
Cool. I can if it makes you feel any better.
Spelled like this.
Once we actually get somewhere with like any sort of anything ever that isn't fucking apparently underground or some shit. we can do some good old-fashioned research or some bullshit or something. Maybe we'll come out and we're in the fucking ocean. I don't know. We'll just have to see. That'll be our future problem. But at some point we can definitely go around, maybe like I don't know, figuring stuff out, because this sounds very complicated, and I'm all for like absolutely like running around doing sort of like whatever.
Lucifer is staring at Phlox in abject horror after they come out in the middle of the ocean bit, and he's I can't swim.
Well, if it helps you any, I don't know if I can. I'm pretty sure I'm too dense to swim. I don't go swimming a lot. I mean, the last time we went to the beach, I didn't really go in the water. I kind of just walked down to the bottom of the ocean and hung out for a bit. I mean, water's super effective against me, depending on the typing. Well, actually, I can't remember. Definitely fairy's bad, which is why I'm not too gung-ho about hanging out here for too long.
I think maybe on that note, we're going to wrap it up.
And they just hang out for a bit, making sure that like everything is nice and burnt to a crisp, and probably.
And specifically, Teddy requests they wait there because you gotta collect the ashes.
Do they have something to put the ashes in, or like Phlox can roll something? I guess.
If Phlox wants to roll something, but there is. Does Lucifer have an empty something to put it in?
God.
He does, but it's. Actually, he does have an empty something. He takes out an empty package of blue popsicles that claim that their popsicles are salty and then sweet. And he very carefully sweeps the ashes into that empty package of blue popsicles. Yep.
Amazing. That's not symbolic at all.
Thank you for joining us for this wild ride.
Wait. Definitely on the way back, Phlox is just like, okay, how do I explain this to Vaughn? So, at some point we have to do testing to do with whether or not the baby likes you guys now, especially you, Teddy. I know you are having memory issues. I would love to fill you in on the last few months.
Lucifer has, of course, put on his magic cloak, which makes the shadow over his face.
Yeah. Phlox is like, and then there's this whole thing with pirates. You're gonna love it. Lucifer tried to get us all killed by the military, more or less, inadvertently. It was very dramatic.
Oh, really? Teddy is very interested in this. And also he says, I do have some vague memories of earlier. That child, it makes sense. Children just do not like undead. At least and more animalistic ones don't.
I mean, we still need to take the baby to like an actual doctor and like get an idea of like dietary restrictions and whether or not they're gonna grow up big enough to eat a house. I mean, we can work on it. Don't worry about it. The air pirates though, you're gonna love this.
Yep. So I imagine Phlox catches Teddy up at least a little bit on their way back to the party, and Carmenia probably is following them back. You better get there before them or something's gonna be up. Anyways.
Yep, thank you all for coming, as we are all just fucking sitting here.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.